Hey there guys, Hugh Darnell here. Today we're going to be talking about breathing for endurance athletes. When we're talking about breathing, we like to break it down into its three sections of how it can affect the body. And that comes down to the mechanics, the physiology, and the psychology. And breathing really has the ability to either positively or negatively impact all of these systems. When we're talking about mechanics, we're talking about the rib position. When we take a big breath in, we get a bucket handle, an expansion, apical expansion of the rib cage. So that has a movement at the spinal position and also a movement at the rib cage level. The physiology, so as we start to breathe more heavily or our respiration rate increases across a minute, then we can be seeing a resultant change in our physiology as well. Our heart rate goes up, our need for energy demands into carbohydrates can shift from fats, and then psychology as well. We can activate the parasympathetic or sympathetic nervous system depending on how quickly or slowly we're breathing. The benefits of nasal breathing. So this is a massive one and a point that we really want to hammer home. So when we breathe in through our nose, we can better recruit our diaphragm, so we get better recruitment of the core muscles. It also warms our air, which allows for a better gas exchange ratio of the carbon dioxide and oxygen. It humidifies our air, so we retain more fluid. So as you can appreciate in a race or your training, if you lose less fluid, then that means you have to get less on board. And then we also filter the air. So from an immune point of view, if you better filter air, breathing through the nose versus the mouth, that can have some implications there. The gears of breathing, there's a concept that I've stolen from the Power, Speed and Endurance guys, so I highly recommend that you go check them out. They have some really cool stuff around breathing and a course called The Art of Breath, which I highly recommend. But they talk about breathing like gears of a car. In first gear, we're going along at a speed that's not that intensive. We shouldn't be shifting and using too much fuel. We should be at quite a low intensity. And as we go up through the gears, second, third, fourth, fifth, our intensity is increasing, our speed's increasing, our need for higher fuel demand increases. And so we talk about this in running, riding as well. When you're in first gear, aerobic in nature, quite low intensity, we want to be doing in and out through the nose breathing cycles. As we shift into second gear, we're trying to get rid of some of that CO2. So in normally through the nose and fast exhalation through the nose. Third gear, in fast, out fast. Still in and out through the nose though. Fourth gear, in fast, out through the mouth. So now we're able to get rid of more air as we're breathing out through the mouth. Fifth gear, in and out through the mouth. Fast respiration. The physiology is going to be up with a higher heart rate. We're going to be shifting to mainly carbohydrate fuel sources. The intensity is probably going to be at a level that's not very maintainable for long periods of time. The message here is don't shift to a fifth gear strategy when you're in first gear. So on your zone 2 runs, you want to be maintaining nasal breathing only instead of going down to an in and out through the mouth there. The guys from Power, Speed, Endurance have also shown us that breathing in through the nose, even at a heart rate that shows you're in zone 2, you'll be predominantly using aerobic energy system, fats as a fuel source. If you're still in these lower heart rate zones but start to breathe in and out through the mouth, there has been shown to be a shift into carbohydrate fuel sources there. Really important concept. Try and practice it in your zone 2 runs and in your warm-ups. Breathe in and out through the nose only. The last thing that we'll touch on here is breathing for recovery and really the ability to affect your psychology, down-regulate your heart rate, down-regulate your central nervous system, activate your parasympathetic nervous system, which is that rest and digest. Because when we do intense activity and activity in general, the sympathetic nervous system, fight or flight, comes online. Increased respiration rate, heart rate, blood flow to the extremities, the working muscles. So when we get into our recovery breathing, we want to have prolonged exhalations. So over 7 seconds has been shown to activate the parasympathetic nervous system. Great for reducing anxiety, but also getting into a state of recovery. And the longer you spend recovering at the end of a session, so if we finish a run, if we can get into our parasympathetic breathing and we get into a recovery state, that means we have a longer time period before our next session that we spend recovering. So, and the longer you spend recovering, the better you're going to perform in that next session. So in through the nose, double the count out through the mouth, aiming for at least 7 seconds exhalation. So that's a wrap up of breathing for endurance athletes. Yeah, let us know what you think.